Hello and welcome to Wednesday's Granada Reports. We are live across the northwest.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Here's what's coming up on tonight's programme.
2 women, 2 missions to make life better for the future. Both trying to persuade MPs to support them so no one has to go through what they did. Leanne Lucas survived the Southport stabbings and wants us all to be aware how dangerous everyday kitchen knives can be.
If we can take away some of the things that can be weaponised, we can take them out of the homes, off the streets and eradicate that, there is less chance of somebody picking one of them up in one of these moments of impulsivity or when emotions get out of hand.
An inquest finds Jay Slater died of a head injury after going missing in Tenerife. We'll be reporting from his inquest.
A moment of pure joy. We're at the new school in Lancashire where every smile is a big win.
Barely a cloud in the sky over the next couple of days, but we have a change in the weather ahead. I'll have all the details later on in the programme.
And I'm in Bilbao as Manchester United face Tottenham in the Europa League final in a game that neither side can afford to lose. We'll be hearing from fans here in Spain and also in Manchester ahead of the big game.
So first tonight, 2 women who've survived the most terrifying events now looking to make the world a better place for future generations.
Leanne Lucas was the organiser of the Taylor Swift-themed dance class in Southport, targeted by a lone attacker last summer. She herself was stabbed several times while trying to save the lives of the young girls in her care.
Cheryl Corbell was hit by a stray bullet fired by a drug dealer outside her home in Liverpool 3 years ago. The bullet also striking and killing her daughter Olivia, who was 9.
Well, both women have travelled to Westminster campaigning for MP support. We'll hear more about Cheryl Corbell in just a moment.
First, though, Leanne Lucas and her nationwide message on knives and how to reduce the risk of terrible incidents like the Southport attack happening again. Our correspondent, Mel Barham, reports.
It was a senseless knife attack that shattered this community in Southport. 3 young girls murdered after a teenager forced his way into a dance class last summer. 10 months on, Leanne Lucas is still struggling to come to terms with the horror. She was seriously injured in the attack as she tried to shield others.
On that day, we were just having so much fun, so much happiness was ruined just by one person's evil act. And it's a daily battle, and it's not just me. It's, you know, the families that were involved, it's the community of Southport, it's everyone really. There's a ripple effect of how mentally everyone's been affected.
The attacker had used a kitchen knife as his weapon. Today, as part of Knife Crime Awareness Week, Leanne is launching a campaign to encourage all of us to swap sharp-tipped knives in our kitchen for ones like these, blunt and rounded at the top.
The campaign is about creating social awareness around a blunt tip knife, a safer kitchen utensil that we can all use in our everyday kitchen. The pointed tip knives that we all have in our kitchens are a professional tool used by chefs, and I'm just trying to change that perception of maybe we don't need things that can be turned into a weapon sitting in our kitchen drawers.
Just a bit past 8:15.
She launched the campaign on Good Morning Britain earlier today. Tonight, she's in Parliament, spreading the message further.
This will make a huge impact because if we can take away some of the things that can be weaponised, if we can take them out of the homes, off the streets and eradicate that, there is less chance of somebody picking one of them up in one of these moments of impulsivity or when emotions get out of hand. And so what I'm asking people to do is sort of do an inventory of their kitchen, find out how many knives you have. Can you reduce the amount you have? Can you keep tabs on the ones you have? Or could you just exchange them all together so that your kitchen becomes a safer place?
The latest stats show knife crime is up 87% in the last decade, with kitchen knives responsible for almost half of murders involving knives.
Every day I think about this. In my eyes, I don't see change happening fast enough, and I just think, are we just waiting for the next incident to appear on the TV? Every day the girls are in my thoughts, you know, and if we can do something to help this not happen to other children, then that's what we're going to do.
Leanne says it's about collective action. Everyone can make a difference, and it's about reducing the risk potentially present in everybody's kitchen. Mel Barham, ITV News.
Leanne Lucas with the Let's Be Blunt campaign there. Well, our correspondent Alicia Manali is in Westminster for us this evening. Alicia, from one women's campaign to another, Cheryl Corbell was watching last night as the law she wants introducing passed its next stage in Parliament.
That's right. It was a moment which means a grieving mother now finally feels able to hope that the change she's fought so hard for will really become a reality. Today, Cheryl Corbell met with the Prime Minister, who's backing her campaign for Olivia's Law, a rule to force convicted criminals to come to the dock to hear their sentence being passed, so that the families of their victims can look them in the eye and tell them exactly what their crime has cost. It was closure which was denied to Cheryl herself during her daughter's murder trial. She spent weeks writing a victim impact statement, wanting the killer to know all about the 9-year-old life he so cruelly took away. Olivia Pratt Corbell, who her mother described as a sassy little princess who never ran out of energy. She was utterly adored by her siblings and was getting ready to donate her beautiful long hair to make wigs for children with cancer. But Cheryl Corbell never got to read those words to the man who killed her child. Thomas Cashman refused to leave his cell. And now her fight to spare other families a similar pain has reached its report stage in Parliament. The measures backed by the Prime Minister could see courts allowed to use reasonable force to compel an offender to come to the dock and give them a 2-year extension on their prison sentence if they refused. They could also be hit with sanctions while they're in prison, the loss of privileges such as access to a gym or to visitors. Now, there remains a lot of work to do. A committee of MPs will now examine the bill in detail and debate how it could work in practice, trying to decide whether a criminal should be forced to stay in the dock even if they become disruptive and disrespectful. Now, Cheryl says that she wants the victims' families to be given that decision on a case-by-case basis. She says nothing Thomas Cashman could have done in the dock would have hurt her more than his refusing to come at all. But she knows that not every family might feel the same way. So there remains a lot of work to do. But with a cross-party group of MPs backing this, it is very likely to pass its report stage and become law. That will be the end of a mother's journey, which even the Prime Minister said today he's been humbled to see.
OK, Alicia in Westminster, thank you.
Well, next tonight, the inquest into the death of Lancashire teenager Jay Slater, who went missing in Tenerife last summer, has heard he had drugs and alcohol in his system before he died from a head injury.
The 19-year-old's disappearance sparked huge media attention as people flocked to the island to join the month-long search.
But today, the coroner agreed to adjourn the hearing at the request of Jay's mother, who asked for more witnesses to be brought to court to give evidence.
Our correspondent Anne O'Connor is at Preston Coroner's Court. And Anne, what can you tell us?
Well, Gmar, many people watching tonight will remember the search for Jay Slater last June and July. He had been missing for almost a month before his body was found in a remote, steep part of Tenerife, where he'd gone to a music festival. A pathologist told his inquest today that he'd suffered a severe head injury that probably killed him instantly, if not rendering him unconscious very quickly. The pathologist said that was likely to have come from a high fall onto his head with a lot of force. There was no evidence, he said, of any force or foul play. There was evidence, though, that the 19-year-old had ecstasy, cocaine, alcohol and possibly ketamine in his blood at the time of his death. The coroner was told there were repeated messages on Jay Slater's phone with friends that he was with, begging him to leave a nightclub and go back to his holiday accommodation because, as they put it, he was off his head, off his barnet. Well, he refused and posted photos of himself in a car with 2 other men. They ended up at a holiday let in a different part of the island and have since been ruled out of any involvement in his death. He was seen then next morning by local Spanish residents looking for a bus. They told him it would be a couple of hours and he wouldn't get a taxi in this remote area. They were, of course, the last people to see him alive.
And Anne, Jay's mum became emotional, didn't she, about some of the witnesses who weren't in court?
Yeah, some of those friends I was talking about did not appear to give evidence, despite the fact that the coroner's office had contacted them, summons them to court. Jay's mother, Debbie Duncan, broke down in tears as she told the coroner, "We need these people to be sat in front of us because he went on holiday and didn't come back. There's questions that we need to ask." Well, the coroner said he would attempt again to get those people to court to the inquest, which he adjourned to a later date, yet to be set.
OK, Anne, thank you.
Let's take a look at some more of the day's news now. And Liverpool Football Club have unveiled plans for a new memorial to mark the 40th anniversary of the Heysel Stadium disaster. 39 people were killed when a wall collapsed at the stadium in Belgium ahead of Liverpool's European Cup final against Juventus in 1985. Most of the dead were Italian fans. The new memorial will be named Forever Bound and will replace the current plaque at Anfield later this summer.
If Juventus didn't want us to do that, or if the families of those that lost their lives didn't want us to do that, then we wouldn't have. I'm pleased to say that they have given consent, if you will, and I'm also happy to say that officials from Juventus will be over at Anfield when we unveil the new memorial later this summer.
Greater Manchester Police say they are still looking for the driver who they believe deliberately ran over and killed a 19-year-old man in Bury. Brandon Kershaw was struck by a vehicle on Porritt Street on Monday. His family say he was a devoted dad taken far too soon. A man in his 30s is being questioned on suspicion of murder.
OK, well, it's time now for a look at what's to come on the ITV Evening News. Here's Mary.
Coming up in the programme, the Prime Minister U-turns on winter fuel payments, saying he wants to make more pensioners eligible for help with bills. It's as inflation hits its highest level in more than a year due to the rising cost of household bills. And the small ships marking a big anniversary from the Second World War. Would you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
Right, time now for some sport. It's a huge night for Manchester United as they face Tottenham in the final of the Europa League.
Yeah, thousands of United supporters have travelled to the Spanish city of Bilbao for the game, and that's where we join our sports correspondent, David Chisnell. David, the atmosphere must be building with kick-off not far away now.
Yeah, absolutely. There's excitement, confidence and a few nerves around the Estadio de San Mamés here. As you say, kick-off fast approaching tonight. But for the thousands of United fans who've made their way here, well, their pre-match build-up began hours ago in the parks, squares, bars all around this beautiful Basque city. Well, they are here hoping that a win in the Europa League will save what so far has been a disappointing season for United. They're also hoping that it will be the catalyst to see the return of the glory days to this club in its future.
Bouncing in Bilbao. After a Premier League season to forget, Manchester United are hoping for a Europa League campaign to remember. Despite their club's domestic difficulties, fans have travelled in their thousands to be here for the final.
We drove here. We left, I think, about 3 o'clock Tuesday morning, and we got here about 7 o'clock last night. It's our team, that's what we do.
Where have you come from?
Australia.
Why on earth did you want to be here then, from Australia for this?
Because it's a big game and it's Man U.
It's a really good atmosphere, really good day. I'm very, very hungover from yesterday. I'm very nervous. I feel really, really nervous, but...
Are you going to do it?
Of course we're going to do it.
No, I hope, yeah, we are, yeah.
We're coming from generations of supporters, from our parents, and it's always going to be special. Manchester's Manchester, isn't it?
I'm confident all the Reds are here, all the boys are here. I'm hoping Amorim can bring it home for the boys. We've had a poor season, but it's just what we need.
Come on, United! The beautiful Basque city of Bilbao is once again hosting United supporters who are enjoying a second sitting of its cuisine and culture just 3 weeks after they were last there for the first leg of their Europa League semi-final with local side Athletic Club. At their official fan park, United fans have been soaking up their pre-match atmosphere with some well-known faces.
What was that like, just being up on stage? Yeah, no, it was brilliant, obviously, to see the fans, see the support, which we know obviously Manchester United always get. And I said on there, to see the side and be part of this side of a final is great. And probably one of my boys here with me to experience that. And hopefully the day ends well.
I think it's the beginning of a new era. I hope it is. I really, really do. And the way the fans have been so loyal through all the bad times we've had and all the different managers. And then I flew on the same flight as Sir Alex Ferguson. I was going through our passport control with him, and he's a god to me. And in the same hotel as him, I was like, this is everything you could want.
The San Mamés Stadium is the venue for tonight's Europa League final. It has a capacity of 53,000, with both United and their opponents' fellow Premier League side Tottenham Hotspur receiving an allocation of 15,000 each.
Are you feeling ahead of this one tonight, Wes?
Yeah, listen, I'm a little bit nervous, but we've had a good run in this competition, and whether we've been nearly down and out, we've always sort of raised again, so I'm hoping we do the same. If everyone plays well, you know, I've got a good feeling about it.
We all know that the Premier League season not been a season we would have liked, but having the opportunity to win this and get yourself in the Champions League come next season, and I think that would be a big positive.
So now you've got the fans singing your name behind you.
Yeah. You must obey them.
As well as a Europa League trophy, tonight's winner will also bank themselves a place in Europe's top competition next season, the Champions League, as United dream of these good times continuing beyond the final whistle blowing in Bilbao.
Of course, Manchester United has a rich history of European success. Think 1968 with Sir Matt Busby, think 1999 with Sir Alex Ferguson. Of course, it is the Europa League, not the Champions League, that Ruben Amorim and his class of 2025 are trying to win. And Chris Hall has been speaking to United's past and present in the build-up to this one.
Manchester United are at home to Real Madrid in the second leg of the European Cup semi-final.
Their quest for European dominance goes back nearly 70 years, from Busby's babes to Ferguson's forays on foreign lands.
It's a fantastic goal by Hughes!
Can't believe it. Football, bloody hell.
Now, 8 years since Jose Mourinho led their last continental conquest, they go into battle for another Portuguese man of war.
Winning European title can help us to have that feeling that can help us to build the future.
Are you sort of surprised, grateful that you don't seem to be under the same kind of pressure as Spurs?
Who told you this? Not he is. He wants my job. He'll be a very, very good coach, but he has to work on it in his mindset. He doesn't know how to deal with people.
You couldn't draw many parallels between the treble winners of '99 and today's United, but scoring twice in 2 minutes to turn quarter-final defeat into last-minute victory echoed that famous Camp Nou comeback.
I think that game has given the players something. They understand you cannot fight for the whole of the 90 plus whatever minutes. You got to be there mentally all the time, even though it's going against you. And we've seen, unfortunately, a couple of games where heads are falling down when they go behind, and it's not. All of that, you have to leave that to one side.
Did you ever think in '99 that it was over? Or were you still believing right until the last minute?
I never. We had a manager who would never allow that.
Just as '99 transformed the club's history, this final is essential for their future, with victory bringing a Champions League place worth £100 million.
To give Ruben Amorim a chance to succeed, the best chance of doing that is arming him with his own players in the summer, and we know the impact of not qualifying for the Champions League is big for him. It's going to be a difficult final. It's giving me a little sickly feeling in my stomach.
An all-English final brings a domestic tempo to a European stage, just as United experienced in Moscow when they beat Chelsea on penalties to win the 2008 Champions League.
To save the last penalty in the Champions League final and win the trophy for United, for yourself, for your teammates, for the fans, yeah, it was just amazing.
It must have been an incredible sight to see all your teammates coming charging at you to
yeah,
celebrate.
Normally they all jump on the goal scorer. That 3-4 seconds that you're there and watching them coming towards you, that was great.
Not all shootouts have gone United's way. Villarreal sank them on spot kicks in the Europa League final 4 years ago. But Harry Maguire, who missed that game through injury, is motivated more by the team's failings this season and winning for the fans.
They've been absolutely incredible. It is surprising as players how much they are backing us. We've disappointed them far too much. I'd say they're the greatest fans in the world. They deserve it, and we deserve to go and win the cup final and give them that day out.
They're ready to take a bow in Bilbao. A sixth European souvenir could have the greatest impact on United's direction of travel. Chris Hall, ITV News.
Well, the scene is set here as supporters start to make their way to the stadium. It is Bilbao or bust for United's season tonight. Of course, it is a 9 o'clock kickoff here Spanish time, 8 o'clock back home in the UK. And of course, plenty of fans back home are starting their own pre-match build-up, whether that is at home or at bars or clubs or pubs all around the region. And of course, there are plenty of bigger venues in Manchester who will be showing this game tonight as well. And it is at one of those that we can join my colleague Mike Hall. Mike, buenas noches.
Thank you very much indeed, David. You know, not everyone's been lucky enough to make that trip to Spain, but those back home are still determined to have a party tonight. Just take a look at this. This is the For the Fans fan park in Trafford Park, just a stone's throw from Old Trafford. There will be 4,000 very noisy United fans in here come kick-off watching the game on a big screen. Among them, two United legends, Sammy McIlroy and Clayton Blackmore. Sammy, it's going to be quite an atmosphere tonight.
Oh, it's unbelievable. The fans are really up for it. There's still more to come in as well, and it's just electric here tonight, electric.
It has been a disappointing season for Manchester United, but how special would it be to lift a major European trophy tonight?
Well, that's all what Manchester United are all about. We've got to win trophies. It has been a dreadful season. You can't take that away. But to get this European trophy tonight would be a step in the right direction.
Clayton, do you believe that by winning the Europa League tonight, this could kick-start that new era that Manchester United fans are desperate for?
Yeah, definitely. You know, obviously, we've not had a great season, but, you know, it's an ultimate thing. You know, if we win tonight, we're in the Champions League. And, you know, most teams are praying for that all season. You know, City were playing the other day, trying to get into it. We've got a great chance tonight to put it right, probably put the rest of what's happened this season right, and give us, you know, kick-starters, like you say.
You won European trophies with this football club. It doesn't matter how bad the season's been. These are special nights. You've got to treasure them, haven't you?
Look, hey, cup finals are always special. Whether it could be FA Cup or European, it's a one-off. That's the thing. You know, we've already lost to these 3 times. We due to beat them, and it's for me. I think we've got enough in the bank to beat them tonight.
Sammy, just have a listen to these fans behind you. They've had such a tough season by Manchester United standards, and yet they've stood by the manager and stood by the players through thick and thin.
Well, that just shows you how loyal the supporters are. They travel all over the country, all over the world, and they're here tonight because they can't get in Bilbao supporting the team. United team owe these supporters a big night tonight. Let's hope they give it them.
Last word to you, Clayton. How do you see the game going tonight? How confident are you?
I think it'll be really tight at the start, but you know, I think we will get through it. I think we'll win 2-1.
Okay. I lied. It's the last word to you. How do you think it's going to go?
I'm going to go 3-2 United. There'll be goals. I fancy goals tonight.
Okay, gents, thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate your time. These two always impeccably dressed. They have no idea what's in store tonight. They're going to get covered in beer, particularly if Manchester United win the Europa League tonight. Back to the studio.
Okay, Mike, enjoy the match, pal. Thank you.
Well, from one massive football game with loads hanging on it to another, and Oldham Athletic are now 90 minutes away from a return to the Football League. They're off to Wembley for the National League playoff final. They beat York City 3-0 away from home in the semis last night and will face either Forest Green or Southend on June the 1st. It's the club's first Wembley Cup final in 35 years.
I welled up. You know, there's so much passion beyond you can ever imagine. It was, everybody was buzzing. We had 2,000 people came here to watch it on the television. They could have stayed home and watched it on television. Such is the passion. 2,000 people who couldn't go to York came here. Wow.
And now they're off to Wembley.
Oh, instead of coming here, they come to Wembley. They don't tell them not to go out this weekend. Save your money for next weekend to come to London.
Love Frank, he's such a character.
Oh, he's brilliant. Oldham will be empty on the 1st of June, I'm sure.
Well, next, a centre for disabled children in Lancashire is providing care for dozens of youngsters every week, in no small part due to the opening of a new school on the premises.
Yeah, Rainbow Hub in Maudsley near Ormskirk opened back in 2001, but the addition of the school can now help children reach their full potential and gain more independence. Paul Crone paid them a visit.
For 7-year-old Tia, who has cerebral palsy, the skies really are blue when she visits Rainbow Hub in Lancashire. And 6-year-old Albert seems pretty much at home too. A newly opened school at Rainbow Hub in Maudsley now means dozens of children are given a host of therapeutic services for those with physical disabilities as a result of a neurological condition or a child brain injury. The chief exec, who has a daughter with a neurological condition, knows how tough it is for mums and dads.
I've walked the journey that all of the parents are on, and I know how lonely it can be and how isolating it can be. So I think the empathy that I have helps me shape the future of Rainbow Hub and know what services the children and families need.
Albert's mum says the centre is vital to her son's development and happiness.
His little character comes out when he arrives here. He knows all the staff. He gives them a big hug when he comes in the morning. He gives them big waves and sometimes a hug going home. You can just see how content he is.
On average, Rainbow Hub sees around 80 children a week, but because it's a charity, it needs around £50,000 a month to keep its doors open. And for the mum of 7-year-old Oscar, who has cerebral palsy and hydrocephalus, the staff are the stars at Rainbow Hub.
He cries sometimes coming in, but that's just the way he is. And they'll start singing songs, and that's it. He will calm down. Any nursery rhyme songs, and he will calm down straight away. So they know him inside out.
The small wins are just as important as the big wins, really, and we do celebrate every single win that every day we're celebrating a new skill that a child has learned.
But the most important job of the day is to see just how much mess we can make with some shaving foam. Paul Crone, ITV News, Lancashire.
Oh, they're having an absolute ball, aren't they? Looks like such a special place. Yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at the weather now. Here's Joe.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you. A very good evening to you. Some lovely sunshine again across the northwest today. We are in for a change weather-wise, noticeably fresher from tomorrow, but settled for Thursday and Friday. It's from Saturday when we begin to see fronts making inroads from the northwest, bringing a more changeable, unsettled theme to our weather through the bank holiday weekend. Back to tonight, and a week front will be sinking south across the north of England. It just introduces cloud for us and fresher conditions before dawn. High pressure still ostensibly in charge of things though, so it's settled and dry the next couple of days before those fronts begin to move in from Saturday, introducing spells of rain and rather blustery winds throughout the bank holiday weekend. Back to this evening, and here in the northwest it's clear at first, but cloud will build as that front begins to move southwards into the early hours of tomorrow morning. Maybe some patchy drizzle in the Pennines, but for most of us a dry night to come and pretty mild, 8 or 9 degrees away from built-up areas before dawn. On to tomorrow, the sun is up at 4:59, it sets at 9:17 tomorrow evening. Now for tomorrow it could be cloudy if you're up early, but we'll see skies brightening from the north. Fresh breezes around and a noticeably cooler feel, but plenty of sunshine on offer tomorrow afternoon, and it should be a dry day as well. 17, maybe 18 degrees at best tomorrow, and through tomorrow evening under clear skies. Chilly once more. Friday will be a nice end to the working week, lots of sunshine around, a high of 18 degrees and fairly light winds. It's from Saturday when the real shift occurs. Fronts will begin to move in from the northwest, and that sets a precedent for the rest of the bank holiday weekend, I'm afraid. Pretty unsettled, spells of showery rain and some rather gusty winds at times.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
And grass pollen shouldn't be causing hay fever sufferers too many headaches over the next couple of days or so. The good news is levels will be low tomorrow, Friday, and again on Saturday. Enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.
And that's it from us tonight. As you may have gathered, neither of us are actually United fans, but we are rising above all that.
Yes, come on United, bring that Europa League trophy home. Good luck to Ruben Amorim and the team out there in Spain.
Come on, once more with some enthusiasm.
Do it for the Northwest. Good luck, guys. Bye-bye for now.